Today we're going to dive into a really simple story. It's just about a boy, a monk, and a single pot of soil. But trust me, this isn't just some old tale. It holds a powerful secret to success, one that's so easy to miss when we're all looking for that next quick win.
You know that feeling, right? We've all been there. You're putting in the hours, you're pouring all your energy into something, and it just feels like nothing is changing. You're just spinning your wheels. If that sounds familiar, well, this explainer is definitely for you.
All right, so let's meet the star of our story. His name is Argen, and his whole struggle with finding success, well, it might just feel a little too familiar.
So this is Argen. He's super ambitious, he's smart, he's got all these big dreams, but he's got this one little problem. He's always looking for the shortcut. He wants to get to the top of the mountain, but he's trying to find a secret elevator instead of just, walking the path. He wants the reward without the journey.
And this slide just lays it all out perfectly. This was his cycle. He'd get super excited about something new, wanting these massive, life-changing results right away. But when that instant win didn't happen, poof, all that motivation would just vanish and he'd quit. Sound familiar at all? So finally, completely fed up, Argen goes to the wise monk in his village, and he asks this one simple question. A question I think a lot of us have probably asked ourselves at some point. He just feels trapped and needs an answer. But here's the thing. The monk doesn't give him some big lecture or a piece of abstract wisdom. Nope. Instead, he gives Argen a really simple, almost kind of confusing, hands-on assignment. The instructions couldn't have been simpler. No huge quests, no complicated theories, just take this pot, plant one tiny seed, water it, and do that every single day for a month. Now, Argen was probably thinking, how is this going to solve my problem? But he agreed to do it. And this is where the hardest part of Argen's journey really begins. It's not a physical test, it's a mental one. A true test of his patience and his ability to just keep going. Man, this timeline is like an emotional roller coaster of patience, isn't it? Just 3 days in, Argen's already feeling restless. By day 10, he is hitting a wall. He's totally convinced he's wasting his time, and he's this close to quitting. But he forces himself to push through, and then, on day 15, something finally happens.
15. For 14 straight days, all of his work was happening invisibly, under the surface where he couldn't see it. It took 15 days of showing up and doing the work before he saw the very first tiny sign of progress. And that tiny little sprout, it was so much more than just a plant. It was proof. It was real, tangible evidence that those small, daily actions actually mattered. His whole mindset just flipped, from total doubt to complete dedication. Now he had something to protect, something to nurture. So after a full month, the plant is strong, it's healthy. Argen proudly takes it back to the monk, probably ready to show off what he's accomplished. But the monk, of course, has a much deeper lesson in mind. And there it is. That's the secret. The monk points out that the real growth wasn't just happening in the pot. It was happening inside Argen. The secret wasn't a magic trick. It was the simple, boring, unwavering act of showing up every single day, especially on those days he really wanted to quit. So let's just put a clear definition on what we're talking about. Consistency. It isn't about how hard you go in one day. It's about how often you show up. It's like the engine that builds momentum. You just do that one small thing over and over until it snowballs into something huge. So, Argen finally gets it. The light bulb goes off, and he takes this incredible lesson and starts applying it to every single area of his life. Let's take a look at how these small steps started to create some really big results. He completely stopped chasing those giant leaps. Instead, he just started doing these small, totally manageable daily habits. Just 10 pages of a book, just 15 minutes of exercise. And this last part is so crucial. He learned to stop worrying about the outcome and just focused on doing the action itself, every day. So what happened? Well, over time, all those tiny little trickles of effort, they compounded into a flood of progress. He didn't become successful overnight. He became successful over hundreds of every days. And eventually, Argen becomes the wise one. He starts passing on the exact same lesson he learned all those years ago. He understood that every huge achievement, every giant tree, starts out as just one small seed that you have to nurture day after day. So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. We're always looking for that one heroic effort, that grand gesture that's going to change everything. But real, lasting success, it's built on small, daily,
And yeah, often boring, consistent actions.
And that really leaves us with just one question to think about. It doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to change the world tomorrow. It just has to be something you can start. So what's the one tiny seed that you're going to plant today?